going on, guys? So today we're going to be looking at a blow mold that I just purchased. Now this is probably one of the weirdest and oldest blow molds that I picked up. I have about 100 pieces so far, and the interesting part about this is the only part of this piece that is actually, I guess, a blow mold is this top piece. This top piece is actually older school. It's from the 1960s. It's one of the few on blowmolded.com that doesn't actually have a date. It just says 1960s question mark, so it's definitely very early. And I'll bring this a little closer so you guys can see. The old injection molded. For those of you who collect, you probably know what I mean by that. It's a little, I would say, harder material than the modern blow mold, for that matter, or the, I don't know, 70s to 2000s blow molds anyway. And what's interesting about this piece is, if you look, it comes apart into 3 different pieces. And this material is very interesting. I don't know if this is injection molded, but it's almost like you can hear it. It feels it's very light. It just feels like a light plastic. And then of course the bottom piece is something like I've never seen. It kind of just holds it. I do believe there's a little piece that's missing off of this, which is a little spiral piece that's supposed to just make it look like almost like a real old school candle. So it breaks down into 3 different pieces, and then 4 if you count the light cord, which is right here. This kind of goes right up into here. You got to kind of jimmy it in, but it sits like that, and then you put it on the top, and that's how it lights. But when I get blow molds, one of the first things that I always like to do is to clean them. Now this is not going to be a traditional cleaning video because it's not a traditional blow mold. It's kind of 3 different materials. Usually when I do a blow mold, it's just all one material. You kind of do different things for different colors, but we're just going to start with the bottom here because it's easy enough. This is kind of just like a plastic base. It's really just kind of, it's going to be more of a wipe down. It's just kind of dirty more than anything. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to take our water. So we're going to take Babar here. We're going to pour it into our bowl. And this is just regular water. We're not going to add anything. If you want to use soapy water, that's fine too. I use soapy water for the toothbrush, which we'll get into in a minute. So I'm basically just going to be taking paper towels, and we're just going to kind of dip and wipe. Nice and easy, nothing crazy here. I'll give you a quick look here, just so you can kind of know how well you can see that, because my light keeps turning on and off. Try to turn it on one more time really quick here. There it goes. So you can kind of see it's just a little dirty, just a little filthy. So we're just literally going to wipe that. That's all we're doing. We're just wiping it away. Trying to get that. You can see it's almost even a different color, not just because it's wet, but I mean you can see how much. This is from literally the 1960s, so I'm sure maybe it was cleaned at some point. I don't really know. I just bought this today. I got actually 2 of them, which I'll show you in a minute. We're only going to clean one for the sake of the video, but I will show you both of them, and then we'll take a look at the cleaned one versus the non-cleaned one. So all we're doing is giving this a quick wipe. At the end, if I'm not really happy with it, I'll go back and just do another once over with the other materials that we're going to speak about. Yeah, you see that's just caked on dirt there, trying to get it off as best I can. But right now we're just getting kind of the dust off and the grime. And we'll make it nice and simple for this part because there's not really too much you could do with this, because it's really just I don't really care what the bottom looks like, because that's going to be on the ground outside when I set up my blow mold display this year, or every year for that matter, as long as my body allows me to. So anyways, that's just a quick wipe down. So easy peasy there. Again, this isn't really blow mold material. This is just kind of like a plastic material. Interestingly enough, we now have this material, which I kind of explained to you was a little like a flimsy plastic material. So again, we're going to take our water that was gifted to us by Babar here. We're just going to do this. We're just going to give it a quick wipe, so just give you an idea of how it looks. Kind of hard to tell with the light, but just dusty more than anything. Again, I don't know if this is like just a really thin injection mold for the base. I mean I guess that's the base for the actual, I guess, for lack of better words, the wax part of the candle. And you can see it's obviously dirty. We're just giving it a wipe just so that it looks better. And at the end, we'll compare it to the other one that I haven't cleaned yet. Just a quick wipe. And I'll go a little more in depth later, but just so you guys get the idea of how to clean some of these older injection molded ones. And the majority of that is going to take place when I do the actual flame part on the top, because that's the actual blow mold material. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do that. And what I'm going to do is make a better video where I do a full blow mold. And it's a shame because I had a really nice, for those of you that know blow molds, and if you don't, you could always look on blowmolded.com. Santa's Best, if you look under Santa's Best, that company, they have a white reindeer. And I got one yesterday and it was pretty filthy. And I cleaned it, and if I thought better of myself, I would have did a video of that because it would have been much better. So now I'm just drying it off just to, so that we can take a look at it at the end. I'm sitting in front of a nice warm fire, so I really don't like to leave it in front of there, but it should dry fairly quickly. So that's nice and dry. We're going to put that down for now, and now we're going to get to the nitty gritty. So now we're going to explain some of the other materials that I have here. The first thing that I have here is just the tiniest touch of soap and water. And the first thing I'm going to do is just try to get some of this grime off. And if you look at this, you can see the kind of the swirls. So just to make sure that I get in there, just to make sure I kind of get in there, I'm just going to take this, and I like to use a fat toothbrush, and we're just going to kind of try to get in there just as best we can. Now, one good thing about this compared to some of the other blow molds, injection molded is not painted, so we don't have to worry about losing color. So we can actually just go ahead and do whatever we want. We can scrub it pretty hard as long as we're not using anything abrasive. So now I want to be careful because this is an older blow mold for that matter, and this down here, there's a little crack here. I want to be a little more careful. This is a little more flimsy down here. Up top, it's about as hard as it gets. So I'm just doing this just to get some basic grime off and stuff like that. We're going to dip in our soapy water again, and this is just to get in between. That's all we're doing. We're just getting in between the little cracks here, or the little grooves, I should say. Down here, I could, but I'm not going to bother. So anyways, easy peasy. Again, this is a very quick clean because it's such a small piece, right? And again, this is just injection molded, so and it's a very, very small piece, just to give you an idea of what I like to use. And the main part of this is to show you what I really like to use, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take our, if you can see this is what's called a magic eraser, and this one I used on the one yesterday, so it's about half of one. But you can get them anywhere, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. I bought like a 24 pack at Home Depot, so I should be good for a while. But you don't have to use water. Some people do, some people don't. I prefer to use water, so all I'm really doing is dipping it into the water here that Babar gave us. And I'll come a little closer for this. I want you to see how dirty that base is right here. So you can kind of see how that is. So all we're really going to do, actually, you know what, I'll start up here. You can kind of see all these black spots on here. So I want you to focus here and here. And we're going to give this a quick rub. And again, we don't have to worry about losing paint here because this isn't painted. This is injection molded. So it's actually a yellow base, right? So if you look, we're going to dry this off. You see how much cleaner that already is right there as opposed to down here and over here. So we're going to give this right here a clean. I'm going to kind of just go over the whole yellow part really quick here, except for that very bottom. We're going to clean it off. So the magic eraser is going to be your best friend for these types of jobs. And you're not going to get everything off, especially on this. A lot of this is, I guess, stained, for a lack of better words, just what the weather has done to it over the years. I really have no idea how many owners this thing had over the years. I don't know whose hands it went in and out of, how they stored it, whether they stored it outside in a garage or in an attic or in a damp basement. I really don't know. But things tend to bleed over the years for those of you who collect blow molds. So anyways, that's a pretty nice little once over. And I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm going to make a once I get my next blow mold, which again I bought so many in the last week, and now I probably won't get one for a while, so who knows when I'll do the video, but when I find them I get them. I got a candle and a reindeer the other day. So if you could see, that's already shining up a lot nicer than it looked. See that? Now that right there, you see, that's just kind of a stain on the inside. Nope, I apologize, that's actually on the outside, but that ain't coming off. Even if I scrape it, it's not coming off. Not really sure what that is, just could be melting, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's really not that noticeable unless you're looking up close like we are right now. Got a little spot right here I'm going to try to get off. And you don't have to use water for a magic eraser. I like to. I don't think you have to. I know some people don't. But this stuff's actually coming off pretty good, so. And again, this down here is kind of, might be the glue that came up over the years. It's the only thing I could think. But now we're going to focus. We're going to dip this in here, get some of the grime off of it, our water. And I'm going to go ahead and very carefully do this because I don't want to break it. So, got to be really careful here. Now, normally I would put this kind of braced on the ground so I'm not risking it as much. But for the sake of trying to get it on video, and I'm just going very light. Again, I don't have to worry about paint loss because it's injection molded, right? So it's not just a base, white base with paint on it. So you can see here, what I'm trying to scrub off, right here, this little black spot. So I just do, I'm gonna hold it in the back so I can get a better, and if this wasn't so flimsy, I know for a fact I can get that black spot off, but I'm not gonna go too crazy just because I can't brace it. I can't do this while I'm holding it for the sake of the video, but you can already see it's getting much lighter. See, it's like not as noticeable, it's getting a lot lighter. Almost off. But anyways, you can see that it comes off anyways. So we're just cleaning right here. Just as best as we can. You can see that black just kind of disappears as we go. See all that black right there? All this black right here? That should all come right off. And I don't mean this yellowing, this black right here should come right off. So we're gonna do that. And we're just letting the magic eraser do the work. We're putting a little elbow into it. I'll show you this right here. See that black there? Should be able to get that right off, even without putting it down on the ground. Again, we're just scrubbing nice and light. You can see, well, let me get that bottom part off so you don't. You can see that came right off. See it? Came right off. So that's all we're doing. We just kind of go through, and what I should be doing is fast forwarding this part, and I'll learn how to do that at some point for the sake of the video. But anyways, you're kind of getting the idea. So just gonna wipe this. I'm not gonna go up on these little grooves here just because I don't want to break them. I'd rather do that off camera, so to speak, when I could brace it in between something, so it's kind of being held together more sturdy, so to speak. But anyways, you just kind of do that, and you know what, I could do this top part. This will be a good way to show you. So if you see this top part right here, see it, if you can see how filthy, I don't know how well the camera's showing it, but it's pretty filthy up there. So we're gonna clean this side, and I'll show you the other side as a comparison. So again, we're just kind of scrubbing away here. Put a little elbow into it, little wrist. And I'm going to clean it at the halfway mark across, so you can, and then I'll show you the difference between the sides. And again, I'm not going too crazy here. If I like, I'll clean this a little more after the video. I'm just giving you the idea so you can see it. So that's pretty not as good as I would normally do, but I'll just give you an idea. So if you kind of look at this side, so if we look at this side from here to here, it's fairly clean. Now this is the unclean side. See how it's a lot dirtier? I don't know how well you can see it. Dirty, cleaner. Dirty, cleaner. So anyways, that's kind of the idea. Now I'm going to show you the difference between the cleaned one and the uncleaned one. So if we look at this, you can kind of see all the, you can see the discoloring, the brown discoloring on there. See that? Now if you look at this one, you see we scrubbed a lot of that off. I'm not saying there's not still little black spots, but you can clearly see the difference between that and that. See all this black here? All that'll scrub right off, see? And we just did this on camera, and again, I'm not really, this is very light, I'm not really doing the full thing, right? So you can kind of see the difference already, right? And even down here, I'll show you this part, focus on the top here. You see that? It's pretty clean, and if you look here, pretty not clean. And that's just from a quick, I don't know, a few minutes of, you know, scrubbing it. So we'll take a quick look here before we close. We have the tube from before. Still needs a little bit of a wipe. That's not going to come off, but if I hit it with a magic eraser, it might look a little bit nicer compared to our other one. You still see it still has all the dust and filth on it. So again, not really much you could do. So I'm gonna show you how this thing builds now, because it's a pretty cool piece. I haven't seen any other like it. I remember I told my buddy I was gonna buy it. He had saw it on Marketplace also, and he said he was gonna buy it, but it wasn't a blow mold. I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Is it injection mold?" He goes, "Yeah, some of it." I didn't know what he meant. Now I know what he means. It's kind of just all different pieces. But so we're gonna build this thing. So you have the base, kind of goes like this, and the first thing you have to do, I'll put that on there just to hold it, but before you even do that, you need to take this and feed it through here. A little different here. You know what, I'm actually going to put, this piece has a little tiny crack on it, so we're going to put that in the bottom where it's safer. So let's do that, and again, we're going to move it again in a second, but, so this piece is going to go through here, because it's going to actually come out through the bottom, so you got to feed it through best you can. So we're going to feed that through. Okay. And we'll go get that in a minute, but this basically is going to sit like this. Now we're going to take this off so we can find the end, which is right there, perfect. We're going to pull that so we have slack, and we're just going to fit that into the groove as best we can, if it'll go. See if it even wants to go. Of course it wouldn't before, now it's just giving me a hard time putting it on camera, but you get the idea. Anyways, that goes like that, and this is going to go through this so that it'll come out the bottom. So we're going to feed that through there, just like that. And I would say this is, while I am cleaning it, this is more just to kind of showcase this piece and how cool it is. It's one of the earliest blow molds, for that matter. So we'll take the one that we cleaned here, and we're going to fit this onto here without breaking it, because like I said, it is old and this does have a little tiny crack in it. So I'm hoping that I don't break this here. Yep, there we go. So it fits right on just like that, you can see. Just fits right up and in. And then we're going to slowly, very carefully, get one end over at a time. So that's over, and we're on there. Okay. So now we're going to plug this in as best I can. We'll bring my lamp down here, because it has a little plug on it, and we're going to see how it looks. And that's pretty much it. It's not perfect. If I had more time, I'll clean it a little bit better. But you get the idea. It certainly looks better than it did. And I'm going to make a better video on how to clean them. But what I really wanted to do was just showcase this piece. Again, this is a 1960s Union candle. It's kind of like the earliest blow mold, because it has just a little injection mold on the top. And I'm not sure if this is just a really, really thin injection mold where it's like almost hollow. I'm not, like, I guess hollow is a bad word, but really thin anyways, and then you just have this plastic piece on the bottom. But definitely a cool part of the blow mold's history, and if you tune in, I will definitely, I promise I will make a better cleaning video for this. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy really, really old blow molds, especially the originals that kind of started it all. And at some point I'll make some more videos with more of my stuff. And this year, I know it's a long ways away, but I'll make sure I make a video that has my entire collection with all the 100 pieces, which I'm sure will be even more by Christmas, because for those of us who are hooked on this stuff, we get obsessed with it. So thank you for watching, and I hope it was somewhat informative.